We were actually the only ones on that song, me and my buddy Danny. Um, so, um, yeah, intermission. Um, so do we like spiders? Is this a group that doesn't like spiders? I found a very cute little brown widow out there. And I took a picture of her. She's a little bitty baby. But I'm not gonna show the picture to the webcam if we don't like spiders. So, all right, spider warning for the next 10 seconds for people who don't like spider. I don't even know if it's gonna show well, but yeah, I'll upload a picture of her to Tumblr later or something. But yeah, little cutie. So, so spider is gone from the stream for the moment. So no spider, no spider right this second. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the thing that I usually do when I get mad like this, which is create the install media and install it anyway. um, so, uh, yeah, sorry. This is again my least favorite step of creating the checks and verification is the thing that makes me the most insane. Okay, wait. Okay, okay. Navigate to the folder. Does it want the entire file path? It wants the. Okay, okay, okay. So we're gonna go back to the properties here. And I don't know why this is not letting me type the text or type that. Okay, so it wants. Okay, I'm sorry. Again, I don't do this frequently. So it says to type cd followed by the file path to the folder or by the path to the folder. Um, so it's just desktop. Okay. All right. Did I actually think I saved that in File Explorer? No. Okay, fine, fine. We're gonna actually try to type it. Tell me if I spell things wrong. This is what I'm trying to spell. So 24.04.4 dash DVD dash AMD64 dot ISO. Well, it didn't say it couldn't find the file this time. I don't spend a ton of time in command line. This is probably pretty. Thank you. Probably pretty fucking obvious. Thank you. Okay, what'd I do wrong now? Hey, I didn't do anything wrong. It just took a second to do math. Okay. I'm gonna edit a shitload of that out of the video. Okay? And this is also like I sometimes feel like I need instructions written a little bit differently because that was an instruction that was very easy for me to read past. And when I write it in my fucking in the fucking wiki, I'm going to write it in a way that I will understand it the next time I try to fucking do it. Sorry, I'm so mad at myself. Okay, so we are going to copy this and we are going to go to the notepad that I specifically opened just for this, and we are going to come and okay, weaponize the dyslexia. Yay, those are exactly the same. Okay. Um, um, yay, I'm glad that you got it to work. Fuck. Sorry, because I'm it just makes me really irritable. Like it's it yeah. So, okay. That's how you do it. And of course, it makes me irritable doing it in public and being a fucking showing off my exact lack of experience with the command line because I don't use command line frequently because I don't need to because that's what graphical user interfaces are for, and it's not a problem that I'm not good at it because it's not something that I do all the time, and I need to stop with the negative self-talk. I'm sorry, so grumpy at myself. So um, yeah, weaponizing the dyslexia would be a good band name. Liddy disassociating is actually the thing that I'm calling my harsh noise project because there was a Tumblr post that circulated a while back that was uh, the uh, the name of your indie band is the your grandmother's first name and the last thing that you went to the doctor for, and yeah, so Liddy disassociating was a good band name. So, um, but yeah, the Um, yeah, no, it was a good it was a good little prompt. Yeah, and that's I actually there was another one that went around where somebody was talking about writing a song in G minor called God Murdered America, and then I did that, and then we tried to record that with my punk band, but then COVID happened. But I wrote a really sad country song called God Murdered America that like actually still kind of fucking rules. But Yeah, probably too angry to record it these days. Trying to remember the lyrics. He helps them that helps himself, so there's no help left for you. For God and for country when the rent it don't come through. So I don't know. There's a good yodeling kind of sound to the chorus, such as God murdered America. Uh, I don't even know that I wrote the lyrics down, and I think I just memorized them while I was driving to work. Okay, so we have the hash verified. Okay, so here's the image burning guide that okay, we verified the ISO integrity. Um, is this the okay? Yeah, so it does say the size that you need. And yes, so this one actually also recommends using Rufus. I love Rufus. So but it's pretty easy. Yeah, Balena Etcher is the other one that was recommended. But So here is the tutorial on how to use Rufus, which is to create the yeah. I do also like, okay, so this is a better written tutorial than the other one, except that like when trying to figure out how to do it, it just or it would be a better written tutorial if, okay. Sorry, on some of these it's got a page back and forth thing, and on some of these it has you click on the steps. So anyway, uh, yeah, this is the step by step on Rufus. So, but should actually be pretty simple, and I dragged Rufus over here so that I could do it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna be using. I already called it US 326, and the ISO image that I want. Select um, desktop, and there we go. Open. And yeah, it's BIOS, format, file system, NTFS, which is fine for that. Let's double check that. Hmm. No, does it say that it needs to be FAT32? No, because this is Virginia Mom Fractured Ankle is also a good band name. Um, ow. Okay, leave all other parameters with their default values and click start to initiate the write process. All right. Just wanted to double check. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to go with recommended. I'm going to click no, because I think the default version will be fine. Yes, this will be destroyed. It does give you a nice warning that it'll be destroyed. Okay, deleting partitions, clearing. So this is what's going to turn the little thumb drive into your installation media for Linux. So you have downloaded your Linux, you have checked the veracity and safety and security of the file with the checksums and the worst. You have installed an ISO writing flash tool. Rufus is the one that I use. Balena. I'll also provide links for this in the video and in the post that I'm going to make to Tumblr that will link you to tools for this, and I will also update that on the Linux page of the website. So you use that tool to create this ISO, and then basically what's going to happen is I am going to turn this laptop next to me off, put the USB drive in the side, turn it on, and I think it's hit F2 while starting, or basically I'm going to boot from the disk and tell it to install Linux. And I will show that and walk along. The rest of this process should be, yeah, Balena. So here's the other thing about dealing with Linux and computer people and everything like that is like theoretically you should be checking all of these things also. You should also be verifying the checksums of all of the other files that you're installing to do this. Um, it's generally speaking, if you've got something that's being recommended by an open source project that like is current, like if there was an update to something relatively recently, that's fine. But if you're like using something where the last time it was updated was 2 years ago, you probably shouldn't be using that product. when I went and installed Linux, or not Linux, Rufus today, I went and made sure that it was a current version, that it's frequently updated, that it should in theory be secure. That's also part of why I went with Rufus, is because I've used it before and I feel pretty okay about it. Yeah, and exactly, and you should call the guy who built the file, and it you know, so two people can keep a secret if one are dead, kind of thing. Like when you're dealing with security focused people. Also, by the way, hello Thunder Remix. It's good to see you. Nice to meet you. Welcome, welcome. Uh, but yeah, it's at a certain point, again, you just have to kind of look at it and go like, if it all fucks up, I'll reinstall. And there are admittedly risks with that. I'm going to be using this computer for streaming. That means it's going to have my stream key input into it. So if there is something insecure, there's a possibility that, somebody could be doing that and they could take over, my Twitch and use it to ransom, and there would be passwords associated with that, and like it could be a security issue. And especially if you are somebody who is like a high value target. I am not, but like um but my business might be like, so if it were somebody who were specifically seeding files for like somebody from work to download, like that would be a big risk. So but yeah, it is a process. So I'm so glad that every single part of this process is taking such a long time. Sorry. I am glad to be hanging out. I'm glad to be hanging out on the stream and chatting and everything like that, but it is, I mean, obviously I'm also getting distracted and babbling and more and frustrated and things like that, but at the same time it's like, yeah, this is part of it. We're an hour and 23 minutes in, and I think we only took about 10 minutes to get started, so it's like, yeah, this is just how long it's taken. I'm good. I'm glad that it's fun. I'm glad that it's fun. It's I do like the personability of the hanging out with the chat and everything like that. So um and as to distro selection, um, Shieldfoss, who I don't know if he's in here now, mentioned in the notes of a different of a post about this that uh, was if you're not installing Ubuntu, you need to explain why. And it's like there are reasons to use other distros. I tend to recommend Mint a lot because it is really easy for people who are coming from Windows, and it tends to be relatively simple and get along with a whole lot of different hardware. Um, you know, I have MX Linux installed on one computer because it was like the lightest weight distro that I could find that would actually talk to that hardware. But yeah, it's it's um like what you're going to be using it for is why you should be looking at the distro you're looking at. Don't install Arch just because it's the one that like a lot of people talk about online. It's a fucking pain in the ass to work with, unless you have a specific reason for it. But yeah, you know what? I should do a very, very good, or like since I've now done this, I should do just a basic Mint walkthrough, because that's going to be a smaller file than this. And I now know what chain of letters to type into Windows. And that should be simpler. That should be a more like vanilla install than what I'm going to do with the studio version, because there are going to be some things that like it's going to walk me through what programs I want that I'm just going to be like, no, thank you. Just save some space because I don't need X, Y, or Z thing. But yeah, it should be much smaller than that, so much faster and everything. And maybe I will just actually record a video of that instead of making it a stream and downloading everything. So, um, but yeah, I mean it's also always hard for me to tell what the brand recognition is for various distros, because it's like, Mint is the one that like I know a ton of people hear about. Uh, Ubuntu, but like there are various like various versions, and it also depends on who you're around. Like Arch is the one that everybody in the hacker scene talks about because it's the basic for hacker shit. It's also real fucking annoying to work with. So, but yeah, Mint is really, really good as like a first step. It's going to be very similar to a Windows desktop. Um, it's not going to fight too much with anything unless you have like a lot of really specific hardware that you're plugging into it. And even then it's going to be compatible with most tablets. It's going to be compatible with like a lot of like gaming equipment and things like not even gaming equipment, but just, peripherals and things. Um, so it shouldn't be anything that has to fight with you. There are lots and lots and lots of support forums and lots of threads in those, so that if you are having problems, there's a very good likelihood that somebody's seen it before because it is so widely used. And because it's also kind of a beginner one, a lot of the, like installing this, going through and installing this and getting to the point where it was, attempting to find the information on the checksum and it telling me to install Linux. That's not the kind of thing you tend to stumble across when you are in the Mint forums, because everybody knows that you're talking to a bunch of people who are installing Mint for a reason. So it's got a support community that's a little less um, a little less of the Arch Bathroom team. So thank you again for this. This is a fantastic meme. I really recommend, or I really appreciate it. But yeah, it's um, little little bit of Linux, folks. So yeah, I'm kind of glad that Large Bastard is out with his friends, because he probably would have come in here to be annoying about Linux by now if he was. So we annoy each other about Linux. So, but yeah, just takes a little while. So, and I am glad that I'm getting it going. This computer that I'm using was I bought it in 2021, and it's not really that slow, but I figure it's probably just gonna get better on a newer device. So he might swing by. He's got to go out to the desert for something this week, so my house is a little crazy right now, probably a little bit of a fire hazard because he's got like refrigerators and ammo boxes in the hallway, so it's a little hard to get through some places. The house is kind of oddly constructed, and it's it got like this very long, very creepy hallway, and that's where his office is. So if he's doing anything in his office and needs to like move stuff around and move stuff out, then it takes up about half of the space in the hallway. So Fedora's fine. It like yeah, there's there. Fedora is like a like umbrella flavor. There are a lot of different kinds of Fedora installs. Like there are a lot of different kinds of Ubuntu installs. Like there are a bunch of like, I guess it's like a clade as opposed to a family or something like that. I don't quite know how to describe it in taxonomical terms, but that's the deal. Is like I know a lot of people who use Fedora like different Fedora distros for like business purposes. Like I think we've got a couple of people who have it installed for like database management or something. So but yeah, it's there are so many flavors of it. There's so much Linux out there. Um, what happened to Ubuntu? I can't say it. Large Bastard had to teach me how to the other day. But what happened to Ubuntu is that we're installing it. That's what we're putting together. Ubuntu Studio. I can't fucking pronounce it. I'm sorry. So, but hi, as is Lavender. That's I do like that your username kind of matches the color. That's cool. That's fun. Um, I'm like, yeah, everything is teal everywhere I can because teal, teal, teal. But yeah, there are again different flavors of it for different reasons, and yeah, there's I don't know. I haven't installed all that many different distros. I haven't had any versions that I've ever had any problems with, but I also have never had to like fight with like graphics drivers or anything like that. So, um, yeah, yeah, definitely. Oh, I actually was thinking about it. Uh, it is very nerdy, but I do frequently buy merch for distros because it is one of the ways that like I can have like something like fun for me, and also like the support goes back to the developers to a certain extent. So I was thinking about getting a Ubuntu Studio baseball tee, but it would be fun if there was a little tux. That's actually one of the things that I think people do for the black and white ball at DEF CON is like they do tuxes, but like as a Linux joke. So but your EPC, okay. So when I was talking about it the other day, the EPC that I've got has Linux Lite installed on it right now because that was the smallest. That was the or not Linux Lite. It was MX Lite because that was the least intensive OS that I could drop on it, so that I would be able to like at least open a couple of like Firefox tabs. So, but yeah, nerds, nerds, nerds. Um, Puppy Linux, I am not familiar with. I definitely do know some people who are both into Linux and being puppies, but that's probably not surprising. So, but I mean, Spiraling, you're calling us nerds. You were hanging out on a Linux install stream on a Wednesday night. So, um, I was gonna say somebody mentioned something about uh, sorry, scrolling back up through chat. Oh, it was you, Spiraling, who said that you were late for the other streams. Which yeah, I think I'm gonna probably be sticking with that time slot on Saturdays. But again, the VODs and videos will be uploaded. I just need to get to editing them, and I think once I've got a little bit more of a workflow, and once I've got a computer that's going to be a little less laggy on that, that should be a faster process. So, but yeah, yeah, yeah. See, how do you handle Linux user puppy and heat? No, it makes perfect sense. Don't be sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to think because okay, definitely the wrong furry convention definitely would be like significantly impacted if I mean this is aside from the fact that we love them, they're humans and they deserve rights. This is yet another reason that we have to protect trans girls is because like the infrastructure of the internet would fall apart without them. Um, and yeah, I'm trying to think of like what other communities are like absolutely essential to the functioning of that. And a lot of it is just like, yep, we're nerds. I'm gonna have to look into Puppy now because that sounds fun. Also, like the EPC install that I have is like probably 4 years old at this point, so like I probably need to find something that's been updated. Um, on the other hand, I also don't know that I should continue torturing that poor little EPC. It deserves to retire. Okay, I'm gonna roll slightly to the side, and I'm not going to look back at her, but I think she is once again in her little tiny baby nook. You can't even see her. I'm I'm gonna make us bigger. Look at how good she is in her little nook. She's the best. She's so good. She has become a croissant, so she is now blending into the background. But okay, so had to be. She can't know that we're looking at her, otherwise she'll come out of the adorable little hidey hole. So okay, I'm trying to think what tabs I need to have open from this because I am going to use these as reference later. I'll just leave them all open. It's fine. Yeah, attention means that she's like, "Hi, I need to be on your lap again. Hi, it is time for wet food." And it is not time for wet food. She's going to be very sad that it's not time for wet food. Yeah, she did finally go in there. So there was another bed that was in there until recently. It's one of those like clamshell beds that like has a little, it looks like a little clamshell, like a little macaron or something. Um, and like I put it in there specifically because it's like slightly too wide for it, so like it actually props up the clamshell, which normally she needs help, and maybe she just likes going into it because she does need help. Because normally to get into it, she like cries at me until I lift it up so that she can go inside, and then she like is trapped in the clamshell and just has her little nose sticking out, and it's really cute, and it must be very warm. But she has not been at all interested in going into the clamshell bed when it's in there, so I rearranged the four dog beds in my office to figure out which one was going to be the best for her in there. She didn't like the round one in there, so that was the one that used to be under my desk, but now that I put a different one under my desk, she wants to be under the desk when she hasn't wanted to be under the desk for like months. She's a really spoiled little dog. So, I mean, she deserves it, but she is in fact a really spoiled little dog. Um, yeah, the the four beds are, let's see, and she's got just one bed in the next room. The next room, this again, it's kind of a weird house. This is the bedroom that was my bedroom when I was a kid, and there's only one door out of here, and it's behind me over there. And the room next to it was my sister's bedroom when I was a kid. So like the only way to get into this room is to go through another bedroom. So basically, like since when I had moved out, my sister used this room as like a entertainment movie theater room or whatever, and I use that room as a guest room now, which is great. But like when there are no guests in there, which is not like my dad comes to stay with us a couple months out of the year, but basically there's just like a stripe of sunshine across the floor, and so I just go into that room a couple times a day and move the dog bed into different places in the stripe of sunshine so that she can continue sunning herself. But yeah, the having so when my parents got this house, they actually also bought it from a family that had two daughters who were about as far apart as my sister and I were. And I guess that the lady who was selling the house, her daughters had grown up and her husband had built the house. And I guess that like when my sister and I were like running around and playing in the yard, like she really was like, "Oh, I love the idea of it going to a family with two little girls." So she like actually prioritized my parents' offer, which was really, really wonderful. But like part of the reason for that also was because of the specific way that these rooms are set up. Like you probably don't want like too many siblings dealing with it, or like siblings who are not necessarily going to get along or anything like that. So thankfully my sister and I got along pretty well as kids, because yeah, I don't like it's also like weirdly projecting. So like three of the walls of this room are exterior walls, so that's the only interior wall. So it's a weird house, kind of very House of Leaves feel sometimes. So makes many, many noises also. And we've had to label most of the light switches because I remember what they do because I've lived here for on and off for 30 years. But Large Bastard is like, I don't know why when I flip this one, it turns something off outside unless I'm in the garage, in which case I can turn that off and it'll like turn the thing on in the kitchen. And I'm like, it happens. Um, so we actually have something that was built separately as a porch, but like this, it lines up with the front of the house. It's a craftsman style house, so it's like this long L shape. Um, and it's actually like the shared rooms of the house that like were where build-ons and extensions went. So, but yeah, yeah, it's a little weird. I don't think that this is one of the additions, because the other thing about it, the guy who built the house was a landscaper, and this is right by the front of the house, and there's concrete poured very intentionally in like kind of a swirly swoopy shape that like I think was meant intentionally. And there's also a very beautifully made brick patio right in front of this that like I think that this was here, but I know several of the rooms weren't. And I know that because a couple of them are not insulated and I had to live in them when I was in high school. So That was not fun. But also Ty Aura or TY Aura. Hi, nice to see you. Good to see you. Hello, hello. So but yeah, it's yeah. I'm glad that I'm renting this place because homeownership seems scary. Oh, thank you. That's very sweet of you to join Twit. That's aw. That's hi. I don't know how to handle that. That's very nice. So hello. Um, but yeah, the uninsulated back storage rooms. The uninsulated back storage room is my gym now, but it was when my so Large Bastard is the second person in my life to have a heart transplant. My aunt was the first person in my life to have a heart transplant, and after she was finally able to move away from her transplant center, I think it was 10, 15 years after the transplant, she came to live with us for a while, and she got this bedroom, and I lived on the porch. So it was enclosed patio, den, porch. Like it was a leaky room that uh, winters were colder then, so it was a little challenging sometimes. I don't think I had to stay in there in the summer. I think in the summer I slept in the house, but it sounds terrible. It sounds awful, but like, it is. It wasn't. It was in the house, like it just it's kind of yeah. It's like a sun porch or whatever. So, but yeah, that was. It did sometimes get really fucking cold. So, um, yeah, it was like I I I was a Girl Scout, which was its own kind of terrible, but I had a really good sleeping bag. So thankfully, when I was sleeping on the futon in that back room, I did have like a pretty good cold rated sleeping bag. But at the same time, it's like probably shouldn't have needed to sleep in an outdoor cold rated sleeping bag in high school. So I have used sleeping bags as top covers just because sometimes it's nice. Sometimes they're thicker and more comfy than like a comforter is. So but yeah, it's what are you gonna do? Childhood. So is one of the very odd things. Like my parents have largely been stable. I mean, they were able to buy this house and everything like that, but like because they were both teachers, there were like really significant lean periods, and because my sister and I were like just far enough apart in age that like I was able to like start contributing to the family or whatever. Like basically like even though we grew up in the same house at about the same age, we grew up with like totally different levels of like deprivation or like financial security or things like that. Because like yeah, there were a couple of years where it was like my job at the coffee shop was why we were able to buy groceries over the summer because my parents were teachers and not getting paid over the summer. So it's like cool, we're all being supported on my minimum wage plus tips income and cool. And that's I mean I'm glad we were able to, but at the same time it was just like you know my sister never had to do any of that. She never had to sleep on the porch. So it's like, okay, okay, okay. So, but whatever. Sorry, we're getting very personal on this Linux install stream. 86%, 88.6%, getting closer, getting closer. So, yeah, it was, yeah. I basically have not had a period of unemployment more than 2 months since, um, yeah, since I graduated high school because I've always needed to make sure that there was some variety of income or another coming through. I get really fucking freaked out. And so, like, I did have a little while where I had gotten fired by the newspaper before I got rehired at the coffee shop. And yeah, that period was like I was collecting cans, I was doing odd jobs, I was doing photography and things like that because it was just like, gotta have something coming in. So, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm nervous about the possibility of trying to do like a career outside of the stable career that I've had because I'm very nervous about that sort of instability and having to like, swing from one thing to the next. So I'm figuring out how I'm going to cope with that. And you guys are getting the emotional roller coaster of that. So thanks for hanging with me through it. Yeah, I mean it's not an unreasonable fear. This is definitely not like a paranoia or a phobia or anything like that. It's like, yeah, that's and it is with large bastards, like because it's hard for him to have a um regular job because of he periodically ends up hospitalized for a couple of days. Like it's and he can't be around people for certain times of the year, and they're like precautions he has to take because of that. Like um that's the deal is that like I've been our stable income earner for a long time, so it's just like all right, we're gonna have to figure out how to do that. I just like I'm beginning to get into the new role at work and figuring out how I like it. And like, there's a possibility that it's going to give me some new skills that I might be able to market as like a small business outside of like doing whatever is going to be happening here or writing or whatever. But yeah, being self-employed is a lot of work and I'm not sure I'm cut out for it. So, and yeah, the janitorial gig, like that's the thing is like some of the, it, like, it's very, very comforting and stable. And like the economy is terrifying right now. So it's, the thought of going elsewhere. On the other hand, I guess the economy has been terrifying my entire adult life, so, yeah. No, like having to be your own collection agency is like really really like that's one of the things that I don't like about self-employment. I also get really awful demand avoidance, like and so I worry that like I would get so freaked out by having something due to somebody that it would be difficult for me to complete it, and I would end up like just fucking crashing and burning because that's something that happens to me sometimes. So yeah, no, and that's like it's hard to yeah, hard to move on from that. Are you actively looking for something else? Do you have another job that's starting? Are you going self-employed or talking to Sel, by the way, in case anybody hasn't been reading the chat? Like, yeah. I have a friend who's a cleaner for several businesses, and that's one of the things where it's like they make good money doing it, but it's late hours, and sometimes their back isn't up for it anymore. They've been doing it for a long time, and I don't know. The whole reason I got this job is because my back got so bad that I couldn't stand up at the coffee shops anymore. So getting old sucks. The economy sucks. Everything's terrifying. Okay, fair. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like it would be real rough on the body. Lots of lifting and twisting. See, that sounds pretty rad, like driving around and cleaning up barbecues. So, yeah, the back pain, like, this is, as always, el problema es el capitalismo. That's one of those things. I would be so fucking happy working at a coffee shop if it meant that I could pay rent working at a fucking coffee shop. Like, I would legitimately love doing that. I love making coffee. I love like talking to people and, hanging out and getting to do different drinks and like that's something that I really deeply enjoy, and it just is not feasible if it's the only thing that I do because A, I can't afford it, and B, if I can't take a day off every once in a while to like rest up my back, I'm not going to be able to do it. So, it would be great if we didn't all have to like survive at the whims of shareholder equity. So the thing about a really bad office job, like I tend to be of the opinion that most things are like kind of moderate, you know, Most jobs are kind of okay. You get some jobs that are really horrible, you get some jobs that are really good, but most jobs are like pretty okay. There's a decent chance that it's going to be pretty okay. And like, there's it's probably not worth worrying about too much, but like it'll probably be a pretty okay office job. But the nice thing about like a horrible office job is that like frequently you get to isolate yourself in a nice little office. I do love that. I do love that you can lock people away when you're in a physical office. And also usually great air conditioning. Air conditioning is lovely. Um, and yeah, lots of places to like hide and waste company money during the day. Sorry, boss makes a dollar, you make a dime. That's why you shit on company time. Go hide at the bathroom. um, yeah, cube farms are a little rough. Oof, yeah, especially with the driving, I bet that was hard on your everything. Also, like just the position that you end up getting put in a car. Yeah, copying ISO files 100%. So we're almost there, almost there. See, yes, writing fanfic on your phone at the office is like basically the best the best possible thing you can do with your time at a cube farm. I mean, that's not true, but at the same time, like, you gotta do something for yourself. Finalizing, please wait. Finalizing, please wait. I've been waiting, buddy. All right, I'm gonna turn this computer off so that I can turn it on in a second. And hey, ready. All right. Um, so I do really like the glowy keyboard on this one. That's fun. Okay. Okay, and I don't want to start it. I want to close it. Okie doke. So that should be good to go, and I don't want to drop this or have it fall on me either. This thing is also quite heavy. Like, I'm rather pleased with it. Is the alien head a power button? The alien head is a power button. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's fun. I like that. I think that just put it to sleep because I need to actually shut it down. But okay. Sorry. Protect your files and memories by backing up your PC. M365. And it's got a little Copilot logo there. And no, eat shit. Sorry, it wants me to do Windows setup. And I'm specifically not doing that. Okay. Shut down. It is shutting down. I think I'm going to unplug this because it also should have decent battery. And there's my USB. Ah. Okay, there we go. Oh no. So that's the thumb drive. um, cool. Uh, um, I have a USB hub that lives. Oh no. Um, I'm also trying to figure out how I'm going to pick this up and show it because that's a very silly thing to have happened. Uh, um, okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to show here, but yeah, that that is the thumb drive that I just installed. Um, this thing that is now stuck. So I have to get it out of my hub and back into its casing and into the other computer. So this is not a normal part of the Linux installation process. Um, okay, okay, bud. Um, okay. Okay, sweet. Um, yeah, okay. So that's just some naked flash memory. Um, that's that's fantastic. This these drives were like I think we got I'm gonna say it was like 10 for like $20 because this is specifically what we had these for was to like do like ISOs with. It's a really bright LED on this thing for okay, so like I don't have any idea how much that's going to show up. But yeah, the little tiny white spot at the top there was the thing that was glowing red. That's a lot. And also it was completely contained in this. I didn't know that there was an LED in this. So, but yeah. Yeah, it did definitely deglove. And I don't know that putting this back in is gonna actually be a good idea. So we're gonna fucking raw dog it and just go in like this, I guess. Cool. Again, not a standard part of the Linux install process. So, and yeah, I don't know how much you can see that, but just great. And I'm sure it's gonna light up red when I turn it on. Fantastic. Okay. Okay, and we are booting. Aha! There we go. Windows Boot Manager, onboard, USB, generic flash disk. So we want this guy. So, do we? I don't know if anybody can actually see that, but yeah, yeah. Is hold laptop like serving tray? um, yes, tiny bastard is trilling. That is the she chirp. Okay, okay. Uh, okay. Hi, baby girl. I know. It has given me a list of possible commands. Um, Possible commands are ACPI authenticate background color, background image, bad run, boot break, boot. You need to load the kernel first. This is new. I've not had this happen when I've tried to do this before, so it's giving me lorem ipsum. I don't know what's happening. um, yeah, I'll So this is maybe going to be a failed Linux install stream. Oh no, no. Going blank rather than booting. Um, I am glad that you are not in this alone. There is a decent possibility that it has gone blank because it is basically like trying to find the drivers for the if it's a laptop, trying to find the drivers for the uh, screen. It's a laptop or a desktop. One of the very important things to do whenever you're trying to install Linux is to make sure that you have another computer or phone handy to walk you through installing fucking Linux. Yay, I'm so glad that it started. I'm so glad that it started. I didn't realize that you were actually playing along by like installing along with us. So I would have attempted to do more troubleshooting, but I'm really glad that it appears to be computering. So is it walking you through like a normal like setup process and everything like that? Does it look like it is computering? I'm gonna warn anybody, never get inspired by me because shit goes wrong around me, like degloving my fucking thumb drive and having a bunch of like legitimately illegible things show up. So very brave of you. Very, very brave of you, and I'm so glad that it is computering. Um, so I don't that's what's the my dad has referenced this in respect to large bastards sometimes, but it's the line from Fiddler on the Roof, well, can't get any worse. Like exactly, inspiring like a train wreck. You're having a different night than I am. Exactly, exactly. I am going to I don't know why I'm hiding the fact that I'm an idiot. I'm not an idiot. I'm not used to this. This is the first time I've installed this particular thing. I'm not super familiar with the hardware that I'm installing it on. I don't know exactly what I've done here. I need to stop with the negative self-talk. Sorry, you guys are getting my therapy talk for you. But yeah, I'm trying to manually boot the Linux kernel from GRUB because I've never done that before. And the list of drives that it's giving me is not the kind of drives that it's listing here. So there are definitely ways that you can disable the bad shit relatively quickly, but I am not 100% certain that I like recommend them because I definitely do pretty in-depth weeding whenever I am dealing with a Windows install. So, oh, Linux users. On Linux users, I'm yelling at myself too. Because I could have done more reading on this. I do also have Tiny Bastard crying pretty significantly, so I'm going to find another video to put on in the background while I take Tiny Bastard out. Remember when I was like, hey, it's fine if I just do the default and I don't like, make it updatable or whatever when I was like creating the ISO? Probably that's what's causing this. Probably me being like, nah, it's fine is what's causing this. Um, all right. Let's see what happens, and let's try not to snap the poor little degloved thumb drive. So, grub 2 command cell. Wow, gaming computers get fucking hot. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Part of the reason that I don't do very much in command line is because I am in fact too dyslexic for this shit. Like, it's really hard for me to type these things accurately, and I have now mistaken a zero for an O, 4 or 5 times while typing on this. So I may be wandering away from this to fuck around with it for a little while. So at least I know what partition the file system is on. So that's a something. And I am getting ready to set various drives, but this is not the simple installation that I hoped it would be. Uh, so yeah. Oh yeah, they're. Wait, I wonder. Do I have it? Hang on. This is accurate for me right now. Ah, did I not make one of those? I guess I didn't make um a PEBCAK one, but I sold pins at one of the hacker conferences, and one of the pins that I made is an RTFM pin, and another one is our good old-fashioned "Your Mac is dead" pin. And if I had a PEBCAK, I would be putting it on my hat right now because, I think I am actually the problem here. So I'm going to drop off and record the rest of this saga at a later date and probably do a Linux install stream with Mint at some point and a more basic computer than whatever. And probably a thumb drive that's super glued into place. So, yeah. Fun times. So sorry that this was not the stream that I had planned on it being, but I am glad that this was illustrative of the challenges and fun times of installing Linux. And I'm still just like fucking incredulous about like, okay, cool. Things have gone normally. So thanks everybody. And I don't even know. So I will definitely be back on Saturday talking about media stuff and computer stuff and looking up computer prices, and maybe with an update on what has gone on here. Um, and hopefully I will have some brand new documentation on my website. And I don't know if anybody has anything that they want me to look into before Saturday. Go ahead and drop it in the chat, and I'll see if I can bring that to the table. And otherwise, I will see y'all then. Um, um, did it make him go? I do want I do want to know if it made it go, if you made a face. So I will say hi to Large Bastard for all of you, and yeah, and please do feel better because like yeah, no, stuff doesn't go as planned, and nothing is broken permanently, and things were funny while they happened, and this will get installed eventually, and it is what it is. Like that's also the advantage of like finding a used machine that like you know it wasn't if I broke this it wasn't like it was in use anyway. So having a safe place to experiment and fun people to experiment with is one of the nice things about getting to do DIY shit. So um but yeah, let me know if you made a face. And thanks everybody for hanging out, and thanks to all the first time chatters for first time chatting. And I'll see everybody who comes by on Saturday. Bye.